Okay, episode 4, carrying on from the drugs and the psychotic episodes. So he was very concerned about these people coming to get him. He couldn't get it out of his mind. Then the voices started to kick in, and I used to say to him, Mike, why this is happening is because of all the alcohol and all the drugs you've been taking. The drugs have fried your brain. That's why you have, these illusions of people coming to get you. And it was really, really bad. Like he just couldn't get it out of his mind. Sometimes if I was at the workshop and he was over home, his mum would ring and say, Mike's really bad. I had to go over there and try and calm him down. It got to stages where I'd have to lock the house up and have the keys in my pocket because he kept wanting to go outside. I've got to go, I've got to go, I've got to get away, they're coming. You'd hear a car roar past the house and you'd think that was them coming. Really terrible. I felt really, really... I basically felt, as I suppose all of us parents do, helpless. What can we do? They've got these ideas, in their head. Nothing you say can take it out. I thought, well, the only thing you can really do is try and convince people that, or especially in Michael's case, that he's safe. No one can get you. If they're going to come and get you, they've got to get through me. It's in your mind. It's because of the drugs you've taken. It's cooked your brain, Mick. We have to maybe get back up to the hospital and see whether we can get some more medication or such things out, something. So that was his next episode in the mental facility where I live. I managed to get him to go with me to the hospital to try and get some help. And that's when they decided that he was borderline schizophrenic. Maybe not so much depression, but psychotic episodes. So we got him back in there, and he was in there for, I think, probably well over 2 weeks this time, because they really wanted to get on top of it. So they put him on, they downed his dose of depression things, because one thing that I was really concerned about was I didn't want him to be like a zombie. I wanted him to still have some quality of life, as long as, we could get the medication balanced out. So they put him on some psychotic medication, and I think at that stage he was still on his depression tablets as well. So I think it was over 2 weeks he stayed there, and they managed to level him out and quieten him down, and talked to the psychiatrist, talked to him, and try to find out what was going on with him and everything else. Like I mentioned before, I just kept saying that it's the drugs have fried his brain, and we have to try and you guys have to try and repair it as best you can. So they said, okay, right, this drug works, that drug works, blah 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 blah, so forth and so on. So he stayed there for a while, and then we managed to get him back home, and he was, like I said, he was on his antidepressants and his antipsychotic, and he was not too bad. A couple of days, like he still managed to come to work. That's one thing about it. He wouldn't do a great deal, but he'd do what I asked him to do, and then he'd go and lay down, have a bit of a rest, or have you become a bit, oh, I can't do that, Dad, so we're just going to have a break, Mick, and then, when you feel like it, come back out. Just to try and coach him along and keep him interested in what was going on. So he wasn't too bad on that for a while, but then he started the psychotic episodes again. Like every other day he would have voices in his head, but I'd try and calm him down, but it just slowly got worse and worse. He was still taking his medication, he wasn't drinking any alcohol, he wasn't taking any illicit drugs, because he was either with me or his mum 24/7. Right? That's what we decided to do. Just we won't let him go anywhere. He's either down here working with me or doing whatever he wants here at the workshop, so that I could keep an eye on him, or he was home with Mum. He had good food, and comfortable, safe. But the psychotic episodes just seemed to be becoming more and more and more and more, and getting worse. We got to a stage where I mentioned in the other video, I think, that I had to lock the house up and not be able to let him out. The next time I think he went into hospital was he was having another real bad episode. He was out on the back lawn having a cigarette, taking his clothes off, and what are you doing, Mick? I'd never let him out there by himself. I'd go out there with him and have a smoke, have a cigarette, so that I knew where he was. What are you doing? Oh, can't you hear them? They're calling me. They're telling me to take my clothes off. I said, Mick, put your clothes back on. Well, anyway, that particular day he managed to get out the front and went across the road in front of all the traffic and everything. I thought, God, he's going to get run over. So we called the emergency department to come and get him. And they got the police as well, because when it's mental health, they normally the police come as well, just to protect, just in case the person is violent. But Michael's never been violent. Not all through all the years. He's never been. He was never a violent person anyway, and his drugs didn't make him violent. He just took the drugs and just kept taking them, but it never made him violent. So they come out, and because he wouldn't volunteer to go with them, he said, no, he's okay, I'm fine. The police asked if he'd been taking his medication. He told them he's been taking it, but it just wasn't doing any good. He told me a few times that this medication's just not doing any good, Dad. It's not working. I've still got these voices. I've still got these. I still think, the illusions that these people are coming to get him and kill him. So we managed to quiet him down, and then the police and the ambulance went away, and he went off to bed, and supposedly had, as far as I know, had a reasonable night's sleep. And it wasn't until the next day that he was all right in the morning. Had his, because he takes his medication at night. He was all right in the morning. Had his breakfast. It was around about lunchtime, I think, something like that, the next day, that he started to really arc up again, as far as they're coming to get me, blah, blah, blah. I said, look, Mick, we've got to go to the hospital. No, I'm not going to the hospital. I said, you have to go to the hospital. You've got to get help. Come on, I'll take you to the hospital. All right. We'll take that for this video, because we're up again to 9 minutes, and I'll come back in the next video. Thanks for watching.